The second part of the trifecta is relationships mastery. And here there's some pieces of relationship mastery that you may be familiar with. So example, choosing your partner well and knowing how to select a person that's compatible and is going to be a good partner is actually a skill. And a lot of people make big mistakes in how they choose their partners, and they end up paying, a price for that. So choosing well is important. Keeping your promises is a big part of relationship mastery. Relationships really boil down to the promises that you make to other people. And in order to have good, strong relationships and trust in those relationships, you have to keep your promises. And a lot of people have trouble with that, and it damages their relationships. Having listening and speaking skills. You need to be able to communicate what's going on with you, what you're feeling, what's bothering you, and you need to be able to listen well to the people you're in relationship with, so you understand them, you understand where they're coming from, and you understand that where they're coming from is usually different from how you view things or how you might be doing things. So you have to not only hear them and understand them, but have an appreciation for the difference that many other people have from you. And respecting these differences. So instead of seeing a difference between you and other people and saying, I need to fix them, I need to make them more like me, so they don't have that difference, that's not a good way to try to conduct a relationship. It's going to backfire on you. If you haven't experienced that already, you probably will, if that's what your goal is to change the other person so you eliminate their differences. That's not going to work real well. And the other thing is shared power and control. A lot of times there's dominance issues in relationships when one party wants to be more in control than the other and isn't willing to share control with the other party, and that can lead to relationship power imbalances and conflicts. So those are some of the more obvious aspects of relationship mastery, but the ones that I think are more difficult to master are several, and that is one of the most important things you can know about relationships and master about relationships is to understand how you are likely to destroy your relationships that matter to you. We all seem to have this tendency as human beings that we're programmed in many ways to do things that are not conducive to good relationships. So we get into a relationship, we want it to work out, we have good positive feelings about each other, and then slowly over time, we eat away at the health of that relationship. And we do things that end up destroying the relationship. And we often don't see ourselves doing this. We don't understand what we're going to do, and we don't see it. We don't see that it's a repetitive set of habits and behaviors that we have that have damaged other relationships in the past, and sure enough, are going to damage whatever relationship we're in right now. So having that awareness and understanding very precisely how you're going to destroy your relationship is one of the keys, really, to relationship mastery. There are also other hidden relationship killers that we do not appreciate. I mean, we function in relationships a lot of times in ways that are very detrimental to a healthy, good relationship, and we don't recognize that we're killing our relationship by behaving this way. There's another aspect of this you may have heard of, the famous, well-known marriage psychologist, John Gottman, who has spent more than 20, 30 years studying marriages and what makes them work, and particularly what makes them fail. And he's identified something he calls the four horsemen of the apocalypse when it comes to marriage. These are four sort of characteristic behaviors that signal that divorce is likely to happen. And you can see these patterns early on in relationships when things look like they're going well and the people are not at all thinking about divorce. But when you spot these trends and you look at them over time, you see they eventually erode the relationship and frequently lead to divorce. So he's teased out four key patterns. And if you haven't heard of them, you should go pick up one of his books. It's John Gottman. And you can learn these are four relationship killers that are very powerful, and they destroy a lot of relationships. So that's important. And then it's also equally important, not just for you to understand how you're going to destroy your patterns are going to destroy your relationship, but your partner also has patterns that are destructive to the relationship. And they have to identify their patterns And it's really good if you each know each other's patterns. So you know how each other is going to try to destroy the relationship, and you can step in and remind each other when you're headed down a path that's going to lead to heartache and is going to lead to disappointment. And a lot of times, having two people, not just yourself trying to deal with your own relationship destroying patterns, but having a partner that knows what your patterns are and knows the telltale signs that they're starting to appear, and then can step in and remind you and help you to keep that from happening. So the whole secret, another secret of relationship mastery, is being able to overcome these relationship destroying tendencies that we all have that we don't see very clearly, but you have to learn how to see them, and then you learn how to master them, and that will help you succeed in your relationships.